Greetings, my saplings. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about some tips for copying the white off-white Presto. So we just had the black drop, so now we're getting the white one. So specifically in today's video, if you're not familiar with the tips for copying guides, essentially we'll be discussing the online store list and the times, then also some raffles, and then at the very end of today's video, I did want to give you guys some updated resale predictions. So, before I get into any of this, the first thing I wanted to mention, because this is actually really important, we had a surprise drop for the black off-white Prestos, or I guess you could call it a shock drop. And for all you guys who are wondering why didn't Europe get a shock drop, well, for Europe, they had a scheduled draw, so that's why you guys didn't get them. Also, for Canada and Australia, you guys had the countdown, so you guys shouldn't be worrying about this part. This is just for US. So you might be wondering, how did I do on the shock drop? Well, your boy caught an L. You know, that's just how it is. I wasn't home at the time, so I only have my one account with me, but I said, you know what? I still got a good chance. I could still get them, but I didn't. You know, that's just my luck. It happens. But a lot of you guys, and I mean a lot of you guys, took W's, and, you know, that's more important to me. But I still wish I took a W. Anyway, why is this important? Why am I mentioning this to you? Well, I'm expecting the exact same thing to happen for the white off-white Prestos, a shock drop for US Nike sneakers. So you might be wondering, Keith, how in the world are we supposed to find out when these shock drops occur? Well, the first thing I want to mention is that it might not occur after the drop. It might not be delayed, just like it was delayed for the black Prestos. It's very possible that could happen, but I don't want you to be dependent on that. The shock drop could very well happen today. It could very well happen tomorrow. We honestly don't know, guys, and for that, you guys need to be prepared. So how are you prepared, Keith? How do you know when drops like this occur? All you guys need to do is follow SoulLinks on Twitter and turn on tweet notifications for them. They'll release a tweet whenever something like this goes live. So if you ever see something suspicious that they tweet out, like go, 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 which was the last one, just make sure you click on the link, because it will most likely be for these white off-white Prestos for the shock drop. And if you're wondering why I'm not recommending the J23 app, the J23 app doesn't release a notification on the app for these Prestos. They only do that for Jordans, I guess. But they also did release a notification on Twitter. However, SoulLinks did tweet it out first, so if you want to only follow one of them with notifications, because, you know, notifications are kind of annoying, I would recommend SoulLinks just because they were slightly faster. Like I mentioned before, it is extremely annoying for SoulLinks to be tweeting 24/7, a bunch of affiliate links and stuff, and, you know, all these sales you don't really care about, but guys, that's part of the hustle. It's that nuisance, it's part of the game. We got to deal with it. However, in the future, apparently they are coming out with an app, which is really great because the J23 app really only focuses on Jordans. SoulLinks app will probably focus on all shoes. So this is something I'm definitely looking forward to and something that you guys should be looking forward to as well. But that's just so you know when the drop occurs. So I also wanted to mention that all these shock drops, they're not first come, first serve. Sure, you want to get there as fast as possible, but those notifications you get from SoulLinks, that's just going to be to find out when it happens. You want to be there at least within 4 minutes of the release. The reason I say this is because it's classified as a Leo. What happens with the Leo drops, I've explained this multiple times, but to anyone that's new, essentially what's going to be happening is you have 2 to 4 minutes to enter in all of the accounts you can. You will see it says pending, and they will randomly select which payments to accept. Obviously, if you get in really late, like 5 to 6 minutes after, you're basically done. But if you're the first person there, if you're the first person to click purchase, you're not guaranteed a pair, because like I mentioned, it's not a first come, first serve. So basically, the best thing you're going to want to do is make as many accounts as possible, but I understand, like me, I wasn't home, so some of you guys might not be home and you might not be able to enter in multiple accounts. And if you're wondering on how to make multiple accounts, what to do with your information regarding the payment and all that, check out my black off-white Presto how to cop guide. I go really in depth into it that video, but I don't want to mention it in this video just because that'll make it go on for too long. Some things that we should also be seeing, we should also see for Nike US a sneakers pass for Chicago and New York City. You need to be within a 25-mile radius of these locations to actually just be applicable to entering into these. This actually is not a Leo. This is more of a first come, first serve. You know, you just try and select your size as fast as possible, click the location, as fast as possible. It's as simple as that. And then we also have an exclusive access drop. It is completely random. It's not based off loyalty at all. Some people claim it is, but that's just a sole coincidence that they've spent a lot and they happen to have gotten it. It's completely random. So whatever account you have, if you have 3 accounts or if you have 10 accounts, make sure you sign into all of them when Solinks releases a tweet regarding an exclusive drop. Anyway, that's for Nike Sneakers US. If you're wondering about Nike Sneakers Europe, I'm expecting there to be a draw just like there was for the black off-white Prestos. And then Australia and Canada, like I mentioned in my How to Cop guide for these, we should be seeing a countdown eventually for 11 a.m. Eastern time. But that's Nike Sneakers out of the way. Let's move on to the first come first served store list. So starting off on August 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Here, no matter what country you're living in, you will be able to cop off of here. It will essentially just be a first come first serve. Try and get here as fast as possible. My biggest recommendation would definitely be to set up autofill just so you have a fast checkout. This is the Holy Pop store. Now moving on to August 3rd at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Foot Patrol and Soulbox will both be doing queues. I'm not exactly sure why they took away the product page for Soulbox. It was initially there and now it's gone, but I'm expecting it to be back up in no time. Also, since these are queues, feel free to use the multiple people jig. I'm not 100% if they track IP addresses, but if you think that they do and you want to play it safe, like I always mention, guys, use multiple different devices all on long-term evolution, so they have different gateways, hence you will have different IP addresses for each device, and you will just increase your chances. Now also at 3 a.m. Eastern time, Dover Street Market London will be releasing these, and just like Yeezy Supply, like I always tell you guys, instead of refreshing, you want to copy and paste the link without the /password, or if you already have a bookmark set up without the /password, feel free to do that. It's the exact same thing that we used to do for Yeezy Supply. Honestly guys though, if you don't want to waste your time with Dover Street Market London, I don't really blame you. You know, there's barely any pairs that go live. I don't know anyone who's ever taken a W manually off of Dover Street Market London. Now moving on to 8 a.m. Eastern time, Luisa via Roma will be getting these, but you know, I don't even know why I'm mentioning this because you need 2,000 LVR points. I'm sure at least some of you guys have that, but the majority of us don't have that because you would have had to spend $2,000 to acquire those 2,000 points or share it a ton on Twitter. But, you know, I want to mention it, of course, just in case there are a handful of you guys who do want to cop off of here and do have the points. Now, moving on to 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now we have Dover Street Market New York, essentially here. It's just going to be the same exact thing as Dover Street Market London. And a little after 11 a.m. Eastern time, not exactly on the dot, we have BSTN releasing these. This will most likely be a first come first serve. And finally, the last store I wanted to mention, which is confirmed, will be at 12 p.m. Eastern time on the Frenzy app. Make sure you download the app. It's completely free. We have Blends releasing them. Now, I haven't taken a W yet off of Blends, but I do think that I will eventually, just because I really like the setup they have. I really like the process in which they have it, where you actually see it loading, so you feel like you at least have a chance. Therefore, I would definitely recommend at 12 p.m. Eastern time going for Blends on the Frenzy app. Also, guys, I'm probably going to stream this. I'm not exactly sure. I might just stream some of the drops or all of the drops. I'm not sure. But just stay on the lookout for that. So if you haven't already, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on that, so we could all try to cop together. Okay, so now moving on to the raffles. First of all, the one I wanted to mention was Antonia. All you gotta do is follow them on Instagram. They will be doing a live raffle sometime today. Then also Browns. Now, unfortunately, Browns is UK only. In addition to Browns, of course, we have End Clothing, then Excelsior Milano. Follow their IG for more information. Then we have the Extra Butter Instagram raffle. Now, I'm not sure if Extra Butter actually expired. It may have expired, or maybe one of these other raffles did expire. I think one of them did. But anyway, all the links for these raffles are going to be on my Twitter. Feel free to check them out there. It makes it super easy to enter in all of them. Also, guys, another thing that I wanted to mention, some of these raffles may have been expired by the time you're viewing the video, and for that, I just want to say, all the links go up right away on my Twitter, so if you're feeling like you want to get to these raffles as soon as possible, definitely, guys, check out my Twitter, because as you can see, I released some of these raffles on July 28th, so you would have had early dibs, you know, if you want to get them over with, so feel free to check out my Twitter if you haven't already. Now, moving on to the other raffle, we have Foot District, and we also have Kith. Kith is the only one I want to mention for in-store raffles. If I mention more in-store raffles, this video would take way too long. The reason I'm mentioning this is because they actually have 4 locations, so I'm expecting that at least some of you guys are within the vicinity of some of them. Also, we have KM20. Then I think Naked actually expired, so forget about that one. I think I included the link on my Twitter, but I'm pretty sure it expired already, so don't worry about it. And finally, we have an Australia-only raffle, and this is going to be supply. So you guys know, in Australia, you guys kind of get left behind a lot, but hey, now we got a raffle for Australians only. Anyway, those are all the raffles. Feel free to check out my Twitter to enter all of them. But now, moving on to some resale predictions, some updates I wanted to give you guys. So essentially, I'm going to be holding my resale prediction for what I mentioned in my How to Cop guide, but there's a couple of things I did want to mention about it. For instance, I know a lot of you guys were asking me, and I would just want to make it very clear, I do recommend selling all Off-White V2s as soon as possible. The reason I say this is not because they're going to go down, because frankly, I don't think that they're going to go down in price at all. In fact, there's a chance that they might even go up in price just a little bit, but that's my point. There's no point in holding a shoe for a year or so if it's only going to go up by a minuscule amount. I would much rather just sell it, get it off my hands, and have that money to play around with. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is currently they are higher than the blacks, and the blacks, I am expecting those to drop a little bit just because there was the shock drop and now more pairs will be in circulation. So you can expect the black Prestos to drop in price. Now, right now, the whites are a little higher than that, but definitely expect after the drop, after more pairs are in circulation, that the white will actually be lower than the black. Now, don't worry about this. The reason I'm saying this is just because that's how the black and white Off-White Vapor Maxes were. Similar stock with these, however, there is a little less demand on the whites in comparison to blacks. I'm assuming this is just because shoes often get dirty if they're white in comparison to black. But regardless of any of this, it's still going to be a profitable shoe, like I mentioned in my How to Cop guide. Even if it's only $100 over retail, which I'm not expecting. I'm expecting it to be significantly higher than that. But hypothetically, if it was, it's still going to be a profitable shoe. Anyway, though, with that, I'm going to conclude today's video. So feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Also, guys, if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any hyped shoes and whatnot. Again, I might also be streaming some of these drops, not 100% sure as of now. With that, though, I'll see you guys later. Good luck, of course, and have a fantastic rest of your day.